Go nuts.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining. I'm Meg Daday. I am based right in downtown Chicago. I am super grateful to James for this community and everything that he's done and for letting me guest host this morning. So before we get started, would love to hear if you tell me something good. So Barb, kick us off.
Well, kind of goes along with what we were talking about earlier. It is events. So I want to send a big thank you out to this group because many years ago, well, in 2021, I did my first ice cream social, did it by myself. And now I've got other people from my office joining. Yesterday, we had so many people at this ice cream place. They've got a big front lawn. We set up tents and there were hundreds of people there. So it was a great event. I think there was 8 agents in total that just joined in, and you just pay for whatever your clients buy. It was great. It was amazing.
I love that. Every different, I'm guessing you used like a ticket system. So each
Yep.
client's different tickets had a different color, or each agent's clients had a different color ticket, and you can keep the cost super simple that way. So
Very, very simple, and they just loved it, and the business they got that day was amazing.
that's awesome. Sasha, good to see you. Tell us something good.
Morning. Good to see you too, Meg. Many of you know that I am from London, so one of my brothers and his youngest daughter are coming to this morning to stay with me for a week after spending a week in Orlando, where he said it's been hotter than Satan's cojones. My oldest niece is his oldest daughter is traveling Asia with her friends, and his wife is home with no husband and no kids, blissfully for 2 to 3 weeks. So I don't know if I'd rather be here with them or there with her, but either way, it's going to be a great week with them.
That's awesome. Hopefully it's a little cooler in Atlanta than Orlando.
A tad bit, yeah.
Hey, Tennille.
Good morning. So I want to give a shout out to our lovely Auntie Donna. Um, I had a situation come up with one of my listings. The buyer, they asked for the moon, the stars, the sun from the beginning, and my seller gave a little, and then they came back after the inspections and once again asking for everything, and the answer was going to be no. So I was like, Auntie Donna, what's the best way to say no? And she was like, all right, Tennille, you just tell them thank you for sending your buyer's request. I discussed everything with my seller, and my seller is prepared to offer blank, which was what we offered in the original counter. And I repeated that. She was like, repeat it as many times as you need to. So I had to repeat it 3 times to the buyer's agent, and we are still moving forward. It worked. So I'm blessed by this community, and thank you, Auntie Donna, for the great script. Use it, guys. Stick to your guns. Don't give in. But thank you, Auntie Donna.
That is a great reminder. I'm so glad that it worked out for you and for your clients. It's just, I have been saying a lot lately, there's just no easy deals right now. And so it's all on us to kind of like keep a level head and keep things together. Miranda, tell us something good.
Ain't that the truth? There are no easy deals right now. I have had so many deals that have fallen apart, and I mean we've got them back together, but oof, it's been rough. And actually, this weekend, one of my deals that had fallen apart, we had multiple offers, thank God. And we had a deal that we put together, but they did an inspection, found mold. Of course, they backed out, called the second people in line. They had already found another house, called the third people, told them about, was very honest about what was going on. But my clients are going to mitigate professionally. It's all going to be fine. Got it back under contract and got 2 buyers under contract this weekend as well. So it's a good weekend.
That's awesome. Way to start a Monday.
Yeah.
Congrats. All right. Well, James had a post in the group that earlier this weekend about he's on this beautiful cruise, and of course, people are complaining about slow elevators, how cold it is in Iceland, just stuff that people say often simply to make conversation. So I was thinking a lot about that over the weekend, and it ties into a little bit. I have spent most of July so far thinking through like how can I reset just my mindset, my business, a lot going into the rest of the year. So he challenged us to 21 days of no complaining, which is difficult, but I kind of went back through the authors that we've always talked about and looked for just something that could help with, reframing our mindset, and came up with soundtracks by our friend Jon Acuff. My friend ChatGPT said that there's a quote in here that I wasn't able to find in the actual book, but let's just trust that it's there. You can't complain your way to a better life, but you can think your way there. And his framework in soundtracks is to ask, is it true? Is it helpful? And is it kind? And I think we can reframe kind of like complaints about other agents, about deals gone wrong, about, clients just not getting motivated, or just about our family or things in our lives, and start to just recognize, like, I think for me, that's a big part of it, is like recognizing when I am complaining, because a lot of times in my mind, it's like a fact. This isn't a complaint. It's just, this is what's going on. I'm retelling a story. And I find myself getting so worked up about it, like, um, and, or complaining about friends who I find, to be complaining a lot. And then I'm like, oh, wait, but I'm complaining about them doing this. So, um, so recognize the complaint as a broken soundtrack. Ask, is it true? So, is the elevator actually slow? Maybe, but, is that a helpful thought? And then what can you replace it with? Like, that is going to make it better. So would love to hear your strategies for recognizing complaints and then reframing your mindset as we go into the second part of the year. Robin, how about you?
Yes, thank you, Meg. I love it. Reframing things with Jon Acuff's, um, with all of his soundtracks, replacing the negative soundtracks that lead to a critical spirit, criticizing our spouses. I studied art criticism and what makes great great. If something's not great, it's not good. If something's not good, well, I became a professional critic, and that complaining spirit really puts a damper on things. So how I reframe it is with Acuff's affirmations.
Okay.
And it's really important for me to do that very early, during those early morning, just the power of the brain. And I have memorized that there are 10 things I know, who I am and how they help get rid of that complaining spirit. And the most powerful part for me, is the end of those 10 affirmations. And that is, I've pulled the slingshot back. I'm not leaving this room. I'm launching from it, ready for a day of untold opportunity. I've packed honesty, gratitude, laughter, and bravery. So those 4 things, honesty, gratitude, laughter, and bravery, help me to ignore the critical spirit.
I love it. Is there one affirmation that you really stand by from Acuff that you think would be helpful to others?
I choose my thoughts. I know that doing my best starts with thinking my best. And I'm excited to see what happens next.
I love that. Jenny, how about you?
Good morning. I know there's going to be such great tips that are shared, and that was beautiful, Robin. And just for me, though, all of my mindset starts with my physical being as well. So, like, I just did my hot yoga for the day. And so I think that our thoughts go along with our just the whole mindfulness piece as well in our physical being as also. So, when we start the morning off with taking care of ourselves first, then I think we're going to be launched into the day of being able to better take care of others as well.
I totally agree. And I know that you get up at 4:30 to get to hot yoga at 5:30.
I do.
And I think why I mention that is people don't realize how much work goes into staying on track. And you're a great example of, getting the systems and constraints and schedule around yourself that helps you stay on track and knowing, what it takes and going back to it, when you kind of like veered off a little bit.
Well, and that just goes to Meg going to bed at a good hour that allows me to get the sleep so that the routine can be put in motion properly. So they all go together. If you stay up late and you're stressed and you're working, then you're going to wake up cranky and therefore not have positive thoughts about other people.
Exactly. Yeah. One of my new reset strategies to change a habit of scrolling for like 45 minutes when I climb into bed every night is just to put my phone in the bathroom. And it's really difficult, but I'm tracking it and I'm gonna just keep working on that to like shave 45 minutes off of that bedtime. Sean, how about you? What affirmations or what reset techniques are you using?
So I've been in a really difficult season and it could be so easy to complain, but what I focus my mind on is what is the lesson here? Instead of thinking, oh, I'm going from one stuck place to another stuck place, I look at it as I'm moving from strength to strength. And I'm not being stuck in those places. I'm being stationed in those places because there's something I need to learn. There's something I need to see so that down the road, something I can't see yet, a client or someone's going to need that advice. I'll be like, oh, I know exactly what to do because back there, I was in this bad way and I got it. Here's your solution. So I just look for the lessons in life and I truly look to do not my will, but God's will, because he's stationed me exactly where I'm supposed to be right now.
I love that. I was listening to soundtracks a lot yesterday, but then I also started re-listening to Brianna Weiss, The Life That's Waiting. And that book talks a lot about how everything that you're going through now is preparing you for what's next. And, that's not a new message by any means, but she delivers it in a really great way.
Right. And turn to gratitude always. When in doubt, just be thankful. What can you be thankful for right now? You have air to breathe, you have water to drink. That's pretty good. Some people don't have that.
Exactly. Thank you. Phil, how are you reframing going into the second half of the year?
Well, first, Sean took my answer. So number one is there is nothing wrong is a principle of my life, like a foundational principle. There's nothing wrong. But how did I get there? Everything was wrong. And I was, I think we all can appreciate when everything is fine, you get in the car, you start the car, everything's fine, you get in traffic, nothing's right. And I'm not a road rage person. After I got through cancer, three of my sons were in the car with me, and somebody did something, and I went ballistic. And they've never seen me do that before. And my son said, "Dad, what's wrong?" And I said, "If I friggin' knew, I would tell you." But it registered in me, yeah, dude, something's wrong. What's going on? That work 8 years ago brought me to a place where there's just something for you to learn in this moment. And if you're rising up, and I did this work back in like 2015, if something's rising up in you, that's work for you to do. And so thank the person or thank the moment for raising your awareness for what you need to work on. And so that just developed into, oh, okay, so we're doing cancer today. Oh, okay, so we're doing heart failure today. Where do you want me to go? Who do you want me to meet? What do you want me to learn? What do you want me to teach? So the first principle is there's nothing wrong. And the second is we teach what we most need to learn. And so between discovering what's the lesson is how is this going to impact the people around me that I love, trust, and respect. And so again, I'm just using different words, but what Sean said is everything.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I think all of our journeys just help us prepare and serve the people who, are facing that same thing right now. Like Rory Vaden says, you're most powerfully positioned to help the person you once were. And I think that's a really good lesson that we're not going through these things, just for nothing. Miranda, how about you?
Yeah, totally, to piggyback on that. And I'm not sure if Jon Acuff stole that from Alcoholics Anonymous or if Alcoholics Anonymous stole that from Jon Acuff, because we've been talking about that in AA for a long time. There's another saying that a grateful alcoholic will never drink. So I try to stay in gratitude every single day, and I get a lot of that from the Miracle Morning. Meg, you and I both live in Chicago, which the weather can be something to complain about on a regular basis. It's too hot, it's too cold, it's too whatever. But the reality is that your state, and it's like what um sorry, lost my train of thought. Um, but it's like what oh, he spoke at, oh my gosh, Tony Robbins, what he says in his book, uh unlimited power, is your state is created by what you focus on and what your body's doing. So if my body is moving, which I exercise every day, and I'm focused on the positive things in life, everything is good. This weekend I had planned on having at least one day off because I obviously, you all know, we all work a lot, but I ended up having to work because I had a client call me and say they wanted to buy a house. Well, guess what? I could complain about having to work on my day off, or I can go and write the dang contract and get another deal. I choose I don't complain. I was raised by my mother, who is a very firm believer that, well, both my parents, but my mom doesn't complain about anything. My mom is 80 years old, has chronic pain, and her attitude is complaining about it does not make it any better. So why talk about it? Just move on and
That's amazing.
focus on
Yeah.
what's good. What you focus on expands.
And I think that was what I kept coming back to this weekend, is what you focus on expands. And so that is a great reminder. And thank you for sharing all of that, because yes, like I think all of what we're learning in all of these books, they're not necessarily anything new. It's just people are kind of like repackaging them in a way that is going to resonate with someone or be a new message that someone needs to hear at that moment. And I think just staying in gratitude and just kind of being in service to others who might, need that message at that time. So
Well,
thank
and
you.
like the Miracle Morning I was reading in January of 2024 from this community is why I started reading it. And January, like,
It's
like
I'm
just
complaining about January.
oh my gosh, it's the worst.
Yeah.
And I was reading that book and I was like, wait a minute, why do I just assume that every January I have to be depressed? No, I don't. I can make a decision that I'm not going to be upset about the weather. I can make a choice. And you know what? I don't think I've been upset about the weather since, which is shocking in Chicago.
I made a conscious effort a few years ago because a friend would constantly complain about the weather every single day. And I just stopped. Like, this is not going to be my favorite topic of conversation. And it's because it's just filler and it's just not a productive thing. So, yes, it's so easy to do. But, all right, we have time for, I think, two more. Lainey, how about you?
Hey Meg, thank you so much for hosting the show. And Miranda and I are cut from the same cloth. A grateful heart will not drink. And being in recovery, that was one of the first things that I learned. But I never understood it, if that makes any sense. And then I had all of those old tapes. Yeah, I was sober and in recovery, but I have all these old tapes from before that just keep spinning and spinning. And Jon Acuff, when he came to oh my God, that changed my whole world. And I usually say, what is this teaching me? What is this teaching me? And how can I grow from it? Or I have a caveat, I'm going to complain. So I've been really mindful since James put that out there about how much I complain. I had a table builders event this weekend, and the theme of it was kindness and joy. And I did the little kid that James did at one of the events at the end of the little Indian boy talking about joy. Um, with that said, there were 12 ladies that were there, and four of them, all they did was complain. And they couldn't find gratitude, joy, kindness. Was it true? Was it helpful? Was it kind? My next event is going to be on Jon Acuff's the broken soundtracks. So
Yeah.
that's what we'll be focusing on. So I try not to complain too much. I may squawk a little bit, but my life is unflippin' believable compared to what it was 30 years ago.
I completely agree. And Kelly just said in the comments, I wish I had found this work earlier. And I agree. Like, I think most of our friends who are not in the, real estate or sales, like when I was an attorney, this work was not anywhere on my radar. And most of my friends who are still working in corporate are not doing this type of thing. So I think we all are surrounded by growth-minded people who, love just trying to continue to get better. And that's a big part of it. So I just wanted to share one last thing. This is a vision board I did last week. And I created this vision board to just remind myself. It was at a vision board and breathwork event, which was awesome. But I realized that a lot of the things that were on there, I was talking about and I wanted, but I wasn't actually doing the work to get them. So I created a super simple tracker on an index card the other day about, I really want abs, which is dumb, but also like I've never had them. So I just want to see what's possible. And maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but I'm going to try and do the work to do that, which includes cutting back on sugar, actually doing ab exercises. And, I've realized I'm completely intolerant to gluten, so I need to actually give that up. And I haven't been doing anything about it, but I created this super easy 21-day habit tracker. And as part of the reset that I've been doing, I did a worksheet at an event a couple days ago, or 2 weeks ago, with some of my small business women entrepreneurs. And so I'm going to put in the pivot group just a link to this in case anyone wants a reset worksheet and a 21-day habit tracker. So the reset worksheet is based on one of the most recent episodes of The One Thing, where he goes through like a reset framework, reflect on what's gone well so far, evaluate where you are with your goals that you set at the beginning of the year, simplify down to like one habit, establish your top 3 goals. And then he said time block. ChatGPT, when I put this in there, said take action. I liked both, so I included both. And then I also basically wrote a letter to my future self just in 6 months. So what do I want, like writing that letter, what's going to make 2025 the best year yet? There's still time to reframe the rest of this year. And so doing those super simple exercises, it probably took about an hour, and then tying them to that vision board and the top 3 to 5 habits that are really going to hopefully like drive those health habits for me, and, tie in lead generation and maybe leaving my phone in the bathroom. But really set the vision for the rest of the year. So whether it's, whether your 21-day challenge is no complaining or giving up sugar, if you think this would be a useful thing, I'll put it in the chat later. And I'm super grateful to James and to all of you for being here. I know we went a little bit over, but I'm always here to help with events, or obviously I'm very into the mindset work as well. So reach out anytime, and thank you all for being part of this community.
Thank you, Meg.
Thank you, Meg.